Welcome back, everybody, to our ongoing series about Proofpoint and cloud archiving technologies. We spent the last few sessions talking about the core architecture, security, and one of the core use cases, which is e-discovery. We'll spend this session talking about supervisory review, and then we'll move on to other use cases. So one of the key uses for an email archiving solution is supervisory compliance. And this is really geared at financial organizations with broker-dealers or independent brokers who need to have supervision on their email based on SEC or FINRA requirements. And so we'll talk about those capabilities for those of you who are in need of those types of compliance requirements. What we're going to talk about is what are some of the challenges that are faced by organizations that need to achieve this supervisory requirement, and second of all, how archiving can help you simplify the policy management to do with all of this. Of course, if you are one of these organizations that are regulated by SEC and FINRA, and you need to supervise for a certain subset of your users, you know that this is a process that you need to go through, and you need to do both random sampling and keyword or content-based sampling of all the content and make sure you stay on top of it and have the ability to manage that entire process and make sure that you are being compliant, and then most importantly be able to prove that to the regulatory bodies. And this is really where there's a lot of frustrations with current solutions that haven't been in place for maybe the last 3 or 5 years. And really, the core of it is that these are systems that are 3 to 5 years old, and they're starting to show their age. So the key considerations and constraints that people have around the ability to have these tools meet what they need them to do, both from an end user point of view, being able to very efficiently review messages, get through their queue, and get on to the rest of their job. From a management point of view, getting the reporting information that's required to know that you're staying on top of the task, as well as to be able to easily assign the right workflow for who should be supervising who, and what those rules should be for all that process. And lastly, be able to have the audit trails that allow you to easily report this to the regulators when they come in to make sure that you're doing the right job. And so because of these constraints, and on top of that, because some of these solutions that are deployed on premise can be very costly and hard to manage, organizations are looking for new solutions. And this is where Proofpoint comes into play. At a high level, Proofpoint Supervisory Review for compliance capabilities allows organizations to have a lot of flexibility and ease of use for how these policies get put in place. A powerful policy engine to define who gets supervised and under what policies and what constraints, as well as how you're making that sampling. Is it keyword-based sampling? Is it random sampling? Are there a maximum number of messages per user per day? How do you want that to work? A lot of flexibility in defining that, which is very important as these regulations are changing. A lot of reporting to allow management to stay on top of what the users are doing and make sure that queues are low, people are keeping up with what's going on. And every action in the system, every view of a message, every review, every accept or fail is audited. So when regulators come in, they can really quickly be in and out and know that you're doing your job. And of course, what we really try to do with all of this is make it really easy and intuitive for the end users to be able to get their job done quickly, but at the same time have the right level of rigor and power behind the system to make sure you're meeting your regulatory needs. It's a balance that's hard to achieve and one that we're constantly striving for. One example of a customer who is using our solution is Wedbush Securities, one of the largest securities firms in the country with over 1,000 users. They moved from an on-premise solution to use Proofpoint for their general archiving, and they're leveraging our capabilities around end user as well as e-discovery, but primarily using it from a supervisory review point of view. And they estimate that they were able to get a 50% reduction in their supervisory review efficiency, which obviously is a huge gain given the other demands that these compliance officers or managers have on their plates, as well as they're able to get down to being able to do really quick searches across the archive, really leveraging the functionality across a number of different areas for the archive. A very happy customer that has been able to move from an on-premise solution to a cloud-based solution and get the benefits of that, of course knowing that they get the security and cost benefits that we've already talked about. So let's talk more specifically about some of the capabilities the solution provides. First of all, compliance storage. You need to make sure that you're keeping the content for the right amount of time. There's a lot of flexibility in how you define your retention policies in a manner that is compliant with SEC 17A-4 and 17A-3 requirements. And so Proofpoint provides these compliant capabilities, and in fact, in our contract we attest to the fact that we do comply with these. Second of all, you want to be able to do supervision on the right set of users. As I mentioned, you can put in place policies that include random sampling, keyword-based sampling, as well as a lot of flexibility in what users you're applying these policies for. A lot of this can be tied to Active Directory, so as users move from one group to the other, automatically new policies are applied to them. And we provide a very fast, intuitive review process, so users, again, can quickly come in the morning, get their queue, quickly move through their queue, and get on to the rest of the day. Easy for them to use and really quick and powerful. Now, when you're doing supervisory review, email is critical, but other communications are also required by regulation. So whether it's Bluebird messaging, instant messaging, or even these days a lot of concerns around social media because of the new regulations that have come into play. Proofpoint allows you to collect all these other types of messaging as well, add them to the archive for both e-discovery as well as for supervisory review, fully integrating into solutions you may already have in place, like an Actian or Socialware or other solutions for filtering this content. And lastly, for some of you, having an SEC required third-party downloader may be a requirement, and we're able to serve that purpose as well. So one more regulatory checkbox you can click with Proofpoint as your solution. And of course, all of this based on our powerful cloud-based archive, so not only do you get guaranteed search results on this, but you get a low predictable cost of ownership. So we're able to do what you're doing today in a more cost-effective way, in a more secure way, and get all the same or more functionality and make your users happier. Really, at the end of the day, that's what you're looking for. So to summarize who Proofpoint is, for those of you who aren't familiar with us, Proofpoint is an enterprise services company who provides software, appliances, and services to provide email security, compliance, and archiving solutions to mid to large organizations around the world. We really provide solutions in a number of different areas, focusing on inbound protection, looking at anti-spam and antivirus, outbound compliance, Proofpoint privacy, looking at outbound content and monitoring that private or confidential information is not leaving your enterprise, either applying policies to that, which may be to block it, to quarantine, or to encrypt it using Proofpoint's gateway-based encryption solution. And of course, Proofpoint Enterprise Archive, the solution we've been talking about. All of these capabilities leverage the power of the cloud, and you can deploy them in the cloud or on-premise using our secure appliances. It's up to you. So that summarizes the capabilities of Proofpoint Enterprise Archive for supervisory review. Thank you.